Hello, everyone. So before we start this episode, I need a few things from you guys. I need a few things to do from you guys. So everyone who's listening to this podcast, I need you to follow me on Twitter at TalkingWithF1 and Instagram at TalkingWithF. And if you don't have Twitter or Instagram, or you have one and not the other, then make one, you lazy bastards. Also, I need you guys to listen to me on Spotify and Apple Podcast. All you have to do is go on those two podcasts, type in Talking with F, press the subscribe button, rate me as well. 5 stars would be good. Come on, that's what I expect. 5 stars only. Comment if you want as well. What you want what you want me to talk about, what you expect me to talk about. And subscribe on those, yeah? And I've also got a YouTube channel, which is called, have a guess? That's right, Talking with F Podcast. Just go on the search bar and type in Talking with F Podcast and subscribe, like, and comment. Now, would you look at that? I've just given you so many places you can listen to my podcasts on. I'm just that good, aren't I? Look at me. I'm giving you Spotify, I've given you Apple Podcasts, I've given you YouTube. I'm on many other podcast platforms as well. It just makes it all easy for you. But wherever you're listening from, subscribe, like, and comment, and spread the news, spread the word. If you've got a friend who might like this podcast, introduce them to it. The more audience I get, the better it is, the more episodes I'll release as well. Right now, I only do Fridays, but if I start getting more hits, if more people start listening, and that'll motivate me to do more episodes. So come on, guys, let's get to it. So what is been going on? And what is going on in 2020? This whole year should be written off. It couldn't really get any worse, could it? How shit has this year been? Who knew that 2020 would be so shit? And if it couldn't get any worse, there's a big threat of World War III happening. And why is that happening? Because there's been clashes between China and India on the Himalayan border. Now, why have these clashes happened? These clashes have happened is because India and China are right next to each other, and they share the Himalayan border. Now, they've always had a dispute between both of them, like how much land or whose border that should be. India says that it should be theirs, and China says that it should be theirs. And both countries, they came to an agreement, because this dispute has been going on for quite some time between India and China, between this border. So they came to an agreement, and they were like, okay, we're not going to carry any guns. We're not going to carry any guns because it's much safer like that. Well, that's what they're saying. It's much safer. No one's going to fire a shot. No one's in threat of getting killed. So we're going to ban all guns. We're just going to have our own people patrol the borders. And there's always been a little bit of conflict between them, like a little bit of he says this and she said that. But it's never escalated to what it has escalated to right now. Now, there's been a lot of different reports. Like they were saying, China killed 20 Indian officers, and then India were like, yeah, they killed 40 China officers. There's been a lot of back and forth. They're both major countries in the world. They got a population of over 1 billion people, both of them, and they're both well on their way to being like economic and military powers in the world. In the next 10-15 years, they'll be up there. They'll be up there with America. So they've had this whole narrative of spinning the stories to their own countries, like India, like, oh, China were over on our side of the border, they started it, we had to retaliate, but don't worry about it, we killed more of them. And then China's on the opposite side, saying that, yeah, India was saying some shit to them, it got out of hand, they retaliated, with reasonable force, and they killed so many Indian people. So there's been a lot of back and forth between them. Like, no one actually knows what the truth is, because each country is going to spin it to make themselves look better. Like, India are going to make themselves look better, and China are going to make themselves look better. At the end of the day, they've got to show their people that they took reasonable action and they're not ones to be fucked with. Like they can't turn around and go, say for example India, they can't turn around and go to their own country like, oh yeah, we started this whole conflict and then we killed them, this and that, and it was all our fault. They're never going to say that. Each country's going to back themselves. So it's been kind of a lot of fuckery. And even what's more messed up as well is, like, they're not allowed any guns up there. So the way these people were killed, the way this conflict escalated, it was like with sticks and stones. Like, that's how they were hunting each other down. There's been a few clips on a few websites as well, like showing certain Chinese officials and the Indian officials like beating the opposite side up with sticks and stones, throwing stones at them, getting whatever they can get their hands on, like just literally just kicking fuck out of them like that. Enough so to kill them off. But the good thing is that it did being resolved. Let's put it that way. There's been news reports that China and India were talking between themselves, and it's just come out quite recently that the whole situation that happened on the border has been resolved. Like, the last thing that you'd want is a war between them two major countries, because they've both got nuclear weapons, they've both got quite big armies. Like, who would you back in that situation? I wonder if my audience can help me with that. Who would you back? Would you be backing China, or would you be backing India? Like, who do you think would win? If you really think about it, everything is from China. Like, every single thing. Like, anything you buy nowadays, made in China, made in China. Let me look at this glass, made in China. PlayStations, made in China. iPhones, made in China. It's always different countries that like come up with the idea, and then they send that shit to China, and because of cheap labor they make China do it. And then what China will do after that is they'll rip off that same that same product that's been sent to them, and they'll just sell it within the Chinese markets. Like, who would you back? That's who I want to know. Like, who would actually win if they both went at it? Like, who would get fucked up the most? Both major ass countries. But it's a good thing that it's been resolved, and it's not going to go any further as well with that. And tell me this, like, yo, I was on Twitter, just minding my own business, chilling, just scrolling through like you normally do, and all this shit started coming out about Chris D'Elia. Like, if you don't know who Chris D'Elia is, he's an American comedian, stand-up comedian. He's popular, but he's not like worldwide popular, if you get what I'm saying. You'd have to search for his comedy. But out of nowhere, like, all these girls started coming up with screenshots of him, him trying to approach him, which in any other sense would be perfectly fine. Like, the guy's a little bit famous, he's got money, and he wants to link up with some girls, like, he wants to take them out, do whatever the fuck he wants to do with them. But the only problem is that these girls are underage. Like, these girls were like 16 and 17, and this guy's like 30. Well, back then he was like in his 30s when he was approaching them, and not just one, not just two, like a lot of girls were coming out, with screenshots of him. Like, he was approaching them over the DMs, like, the Instagram and Twitter DMs, and texting these girls. Because he's a stand-up comedian, he'd go to quite a few different states in America. He'd travel quite often, so he'd always try to hook up with a girl around there. Which, come on, man, if you're in your 30s, get someone you're fucking your own age, or get someone legal. Don't go for these underage girls, man. What the fuck? That's fucked up. The only thing I would say about that is, although a lot of girls have come out, about Chris D'Elia and saying, he was grooming little girls and he was going after them, such and such, I think we should hear his side of the story, because it happens a lot. Like, we always hear one side and we just all collectively decide to cancel that one person. We don't give him a chance to defend himself, him or her to defend themselves. We just think, fuck it, they did this. We ain't gonna take it anymore. We're gonna start throwing a lot of shade at the name, and it's to a certain extent it's what happened to it's what has happened to Chris D'Elia. Like, since all these allegations came out against him, all these like news sites and media sites have all started like putting it on the front pages by saying comedian Chris D'Elia has been grooming little girls. He's been accused of, you know whatever they call it in America, like approaching minors and shit like that, which is fucked up. Like, you should not be doing that. But I would like to hear from his side, like, why was he doing it? Did he mean any harm? Like, not if he meant any harm by it, but sometimes, you know what it is, like, the guy must have just been horny as fuck and thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna try to message every single girl. He might have messaged a girl and he might have not known how old she was. Sometimes you can't tell by these profile pictures or these display pictures that girls, even guys, like nowadays, even girls and guys, any pictures that they put up, you can't really tell their age. Like a girl could look 17, not look 17, she could be 17 and she could look like in her mid 20s, which is no excuse, to be honest. Like, at the end of the day, if you're gonna do that shit, you need to ask the girls their ages. And I'm betting that he probably did know some of the ages. Like, even if they were like 18, 19, which is legal, the guy's still in his 30s, man. Mid 30s back then when he was doing this shit. That's kind of fucked up, man. It can get kind of creepy, like, nearly double their age. Old enough to be their dad. And he's pulling that kind of shit. Like, the guy's famous, man. He's famous, he's got money. He could literally have his own pick of a lot of girls, which would be closer to his age range. But let's see what happens. Let's see what new developments come out. I think he did come out with a little statement a few days ago. Chris D'Elia did, about saying that he never really approached any minors, and he always approached, like, if he did any shit with girls, it was always with their full consent. And this was back when he was like a little horny little bastard back in the days. But let's see what else develops and let's see what else comes out. And another big thing, this is to all my football fans, and I mean the UK football, not the American football, the way you meant to say it properly. The Premier League is back. Fucking Premier League. Do you get me? Premier League. Let me say that again. Premier League. You don't know how long I've been waiting for this. Like, some kind of sport to come back. Some kind of entertainment to come back that I like. Fucking Premier League started. And what a beautiful match. Man City against Arsenal. 3-0 to Man City. They fucked Arsenal up. But it's a good game. Give it to both teams. With all the conditions of, quarantine and corona and lockdown. Any team that's playing, you got to give your hats off to them. They did well. If I could ask for one more thing, that would be boxing. I want my boxing to come back. I want to see all these fights. I want to see Dylan White. I want to see AJ. I want to see Deontay Wilder. I want to see, Tyson Fury. I want to see all these fights. Well, the heavyweight fights, to be honest. All the names are named are from the heavyweight class. But, those are the ones I'm looking forward to. Like, I want to see, all these matchups, see how it goes. I want to see the Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder, the third match, which, to be honest, I think Tyson Fury is going to win. He won the first two. Even though on the first one it was a draw, he won. The only reason they put that as a draw, in my opinion, is because it happened in America and the judges were on the side of Deontay Wilder. And you might be asking the question of, okay then, so if the judges were on the side of Deontay Wilder, why didn't they make him win? Because if they would have made him win, that would have been so fucking obvious. Like, everyone would have been in an uproar. They would have got a lot of stick for it, but they played it safe. They were like, okay, yeah, Deontay Wilder got two knockdowns on Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury, he basically boxed his way in all 12 rounds, so we'll just call it a draw. But fuck me, the second match. If you didn't see the second match of Fury against Wilder, make sure you watch it. It's on YouTube, full match. Watch it for free. Fury fucked him up. Absolutely fucked him up. So that's why I think in the third fight, he's going to do the exact same thing to him again. He's going to fuck him up. And then the match I want to see after that is Fury against Joshua. And then the winner has all the heavyweight belts. All of them. And who do you think's going to win that? To be honest, I don't even know. Like, it's such a good match. Such a good matchup. Like, it could go either way, to be honest. Like, any of those two guys could win it. Fury's, he's got power to a certain extent, but he's not known as a power puncher. He's more of a strategic boxer. Like, he'll move himself around the ring, not get hit, but hit his opponent. He'll use a jab a lot. And then we got Anthony Joshua. He has a lot of knockouts. He's got power. If you go by his knockout ratio against Fury, he's definitely got much more power than Fury. And he can box quite well as well. As you could see in his second fight with Andy Ruiz, he lost the first one, and then in the second one, he just outboxed him, absolutely outclassed him. So that's gonna be a really, really good fight. Like, it's something that I'd love to watch. So that's why I want my boxing back, so I can get into all these fights and just get back into them. And what else has there been? Grime Daly is for all my overseas fans who might not know about Grime Daly, or even some UK people who don't know about Grime Daly. But Grime Daly is basically, it's a platform, YouTube platform in the UK, where they basically host musicians, mainly rap artists, songs. So a rap artist will record a song, make a video for it, and it'll be the platform we call Grime Daily. They put it on there. It's got like over 3 million subscribers. It's doing really well, and they recently released an album for the 10-year anniversary. It's got some really good songs on. Like, they've done really, really well, to be honest. Like, they've got some bangers on there, but the best one is, out of all of them, in my eyes, is the Dutchawelli and M Huncho song. Like, it came out yesterday, and it's like on half a million hits, and it's a fucking good song. And every time I listen to a Dutchawelli song, I always love reading the comments on YouTube, because people laugh me up, because Dutchawelli's got such a deep voice, and he's got this whole persona about being a big man. Like, you should read the comments. Fucking just type in Dutchawelli in YouTube, go to any one of his songs. He's got bangers. I'll give it to him. He's got all bangers. Go to any of them and read through the comments. It'll just make you laugh. Like, the amount of shit that people come up with is fucking funny as fuck. But he's got one of those really, really deep voices, and he kind of reminds me of Ja Rule. Like, Ja Rule back in the days, like when he was popping, he had like that really, really husky deep voice. And I remember back then there was this rumor going around that he actually sounded like he had like a really low tone voice. Like, he didn't really sound like that. He really didn't have that deep voice. It was something that he put on. It was something that he basically took like these voice classes for, so he could deepen his voice. I don't know if that was all bullshit or if it was real. Talking about it now, it does kind of sound like bullshit, but it reminds me a little bit of Ja Rule's voice, like that deep husky voice. But yeah, check Dutchawelli out. Check M Huncho out as well. He's a fucking legend as well, man. He's on the wave. He's got that kind of wavy flow. Every song that he nearly makes is always a banger, proper banger. And I was also reading, quite recently, I was reading a book, and it was a book about choices. And I was also watching, like, for some reason, like, when you're on YouTube and it'll come out with some random ass recommendations that you'd never ever searched for before, but you think, fuck it, I'm bored, so I'll click on the link and see what the video is about. But there's a really good one about choices and how it can change your life. So it was like one choice, like just one, it can change your life forever. So if you simply, well, to be honest, like, your life today, so anybody's life today is what your choices have made it. So, however, with new choices, you can change directions this very moment. So, for me personally, that idea alone is highly motivational because it offers like tremendous hope, regardless of circumstances, for a better tomorrow. So, wherever you are right now, whatever you're doing, you're in that position because of the choices you made up to that point. But there's no point looking in the past and regretting on those choices. What you should be doing is, if you do want to improve yourself or stay in a position where you're always at the advantage, you have to keep taking choices, you have to keep making choices and move forward, and those choices can always have a positive impact. So like, if your life-changing choice might be to like switch jobs, or to like leave an abusive relationship, or go back to college, uni, or to stop drinking, start a business, etc., lose weight, if you have the courage to do so, you could make any of those choices or others today, and potentially you would change your life, because at the end of the day, it just starts off with one choice. So when you initiate that choice, it might not change your life straight away, but it'll be a step in the right direction. But it doesn't always have to be those kind of choices. Sometimes it can be a different kind of choice. It can be to not quit or to not give up in the face of troubles or problems. We've all been there, where certain shit's got peak or it's got hard, and we've always thought to ourselves, you know what, we've got two choices: we could quit and leave, or we could stick it out, and in the end run, it's going to benefit us. And there's always those, they always give those examples, and you always see them everywhere as well, where where a certain person, like for example, a certain person wants to sell a recipe book, or they write a book or whatever, and they want to sell it, and they approach these publishers and they get rejected 77 times, but they come to the choice of, are they going to keep continuing on it, or are they going to give up? And if they give up, that's it. Nothing's ever going to happen with their book that they want to sell, or any future that they want to have. But if they make the choice of not giving up and continuing, and then on the 78th time they get accepted by a publisher and they sell like over 100 million books. So that's the purpose of this. All I want to say is that never forget that you're always only one choice away from changing your life. All it comes down to is, do you have the courage to make it? And that's what I'm going to end this podcast on. Just a little bit of positivity. If you're wherever you are, whatever position you're in, you've always got the opportunity to make a positive choice and change your life. It might not happen straight away, but you'll be on a path. You'll be on the right path, and slowly you'll get there. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. Once again, subscribe to me on YouTube, like, comment, and also subscribe to me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And if you don't have any of those, make them right now. Go on, I'll wait for you. Make those fucking accounts right now. No, but on a level, if you have even one of those, follow me and subscribe to it. At least that way you'll be kept up to date with the bullshit I chat every day. And if it's entertaining, rate me. Put a comment on what else you'd like to hear. But have a nice day, everyone, and I shall see you next Friday.